He stood in a courtroom, barely 17, his hands trembling as the judge's voice boomed, "You're hopeless, young man. You'll never amount to anything." Those words, sharp as a blade, cut through the air, branding a black teenager with a label meant to define his future. Decades later, that same teenager, now a man of unshakable resolve, would stand before the nation as a nominee for the United States Supreme Court, his name etched in history as proof that no verdict could change his destiny. Whether you're watching this unfold from the bustling streets of New York City, the historic heart of Washington, D.C., the vibrant communities of London, or anywhere across the USA and UK, this is a story of defiance and triumph that resonates wherever dreams refuse to be silenced. Stay with us as we unravel how one young man turned a judge's condemnation into a legacy of justice. He was born Jamal Carter in 1975, in a neighborhood of Chicago's South Side where hope often felt like a luxury. His mother, Elaine, worked double shifts as a nurse, her hands callous but her spirit unbroken, raising Jamal and his younger sister, Keisha, in a cramped apartment where the heat flickered more than it warmed. His father had left when Jamal was 5, leaving behind only vague memories and a void that Elaine filled with fierce love and unrelenting expectations. "You're going to be somebody," she'd tell Jamal, her eyes burning with conviction, even as the world outside their door seemed to disagree. The South Side was a maze of contradictions, vibrant block parties and sudden gunshots, corner stores where elders swapped stories and gangs staked their claim. Jamal was bright, his teachers said, with a knack for debate and a mind that devoured books. But school was a battleground. Underfunded classrooms, outdated textbooks, and teachers stretched thin left little room for nurturing potential. By high school, Jamal was navigating a tighter rope, the pull of the streets versus his mother's dreams for him. He wasn't perfect. He skipped classes sometimes, hung with the wrong crowd, and once got caught shoplifting candy from a corner store. A childish mistake, but one that landed him in juvenile court. It was there, at 17, that Jamal faced Judge Harold Grayson, a man known for his stern rulings and quick judgments. The courtroom was cold, the wooden benches creaking under the weight of anxious families. Jamal stood, his heart pounding, as Grayson reviewed his file. The charge was minor, petty theft, but Grayson saw only a black teenager in a system that churned out stereotypes. "You're hopeless," Grayson said, his voice dripping with disdain. "Kids like you end up in prison or worse. I see no future here." The words landed like a punch, witnessed by Elaine, who sat in the back, her hands clenched, tears burning her eyes but refusing to fall. Jamal said nothing, but something inside him shifted. Those words, meant to break him, became fuel. Jamal walked out of that courtroom with Grayson's verdict echoing in his head, but his mother's voice was louder. "Don't you dare let that man define you," Elaine told him that night, her voice trembling with fury and love. "You show him who you are." The conflict wasn't just with the judge's words. It was with the world that seemed to agree with Grayson. Every step Jamal took felt like a fight against a system that expected him to fail. College applications loomed, but his high school record was spotty, his neighborhood a stigma. Scholarships were scarce, and the whispers of doubt, his own and others, were relentless. The turning point came when Jamal's English teacher, MS Roberta Hayes, saw something in him. She caught him reading Langston Hughes in the library after school, his brow furrowed as he scribbled notes. "You've got a mind for this," she told him, handing him a flyer for a citywide debate competition. "Show them what you can do." Jamal hesitated. Debate was for smart kids, not kids like him, or so he'd been told. But MS Hayes was persistent, and Elaine's words echoed, "Show them who you are." The debate stage became Jamal's battleground. His first match was a disaster. Nerves got the better of him, and he stumbled over his words. But he kept showing up, studying late into the night, practicing arguments in front of a cracked mirror. By senior year, he was winning tournaments, his voice steady, his arguments sharp. College scouts noticed. Small liberal arts school in Illinois offered him a partial scholarship, and Elaine scraped together the rest, working overtime to cover the gap. But the conflict didn't end there. College was a different world, predominantly white, affluent, a place where Jamal felt like an outsider. Classmates whispered about affirmative action. Professors questioned his preparedness. One professor, Dr. Alan Kessler, pulled him aside after a heated class discussion on criminal justice reform. "You're passionate, but you're raw," Kessler said, his tone blunt. "You need discipline or you'll burn out." It was a challenge, not a dismissal, and Jamal took it to heart. He spent hours in the library, honing his arguments, mastering the law books Kessler recommended. By his junior year, he was top of his political science class, earning a summer internship at a Chicago legal aid clinic. The suspense built as Jamal applied to law school. Rejection letters piled up. Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Each one felt like Grayson's voice whispering, "Hopeless." But then came the acceptance from the University of Chicago Law School, a beacon of possibility. Law school was grueling, a pressure cooker of late nights and cutthroat peers. Jamal worked as a night janitor to pay his bills, mopping floors while memorizing case law. His classmates, many from privileged backgrounds, didn't see the weight he carried. During a heated seminar on sentencing disparities, a classmate, Ethan, scoffed, "You only care because it's personal." The room went silent. Jamal's jaw tightened, but he leaned forward, his voice calm but searing. "It's personal because it's real. Black kids like me get called hopeless every day. I'm here to prove them wrong." Ethan had no response. The professor nodded, and Jamal's resolve hardened. Law school was only the beginning. Jamal graduated in the top 10% of his class, earning a clerkship with Judge Patricia Nguyen, a federal judge known for her rigorous standards. Nguyen was tough, often calling Jamal into her chambers to debate legal theory. "You're good, Carter," she told him once, her eyes narrowing, "but good isn't enough. You want to change the system, be undeniable." Her words became his mantra. He worked tirelessly, drafting opinions, researching precedents, and learning the intricate dance of the judiciary. After his clerkship, Jamal joined a public interest law firm, representing clients who reminded him of his younger self, black and brown youth caught in the system's gears. One case haunted him, a 15-year-old named Marcus charged with robbery. In court, the prosecutor painted Marcus as a lost cause, echoing Grayson's words from years ago. Jamal fought fiercely, securing a diversion program instead of jail time. After the hearing, Marcus's mother grabbed Jamal's hand, tears streaming. "You saved my boy," she said. Jamal shook his head. "He's saving himself. I'm just giving him a chance." That night, he couldn't sleep, haunted by how close he'd come to Marcus's fate. Jamal's reputation grew. He took on bigger cases, challenging systemic issues like sentencing disparities and police misconduct. His arguments were razor-sharp, his presence commanding. In 2010, he argued a landmark case before the Illinois Supreme Court, exposing racial bias in juvenile sentencing. The courtroom was packed, the air thick with tension. The opposing counsel, a seasoned litigator named Richard Hale, tried to undermine Jamal's data, sneering, "Your statistics are emotional, not factual." Jamal didn't flinch. "The facts are emotional when they're tearing families apart." He shot back, his voice steady but burning. The court ruled in his favor, a victory that rippled through legal circles. By his 40s, Jamal was a professor at his alma mater, teaching constitutional law and mentoring students of color. His classes were standing room only, his lectures a blend of rigor and passion. He published articles in top journals, earning respect from peers who once doubted him. But the past lingered. At a legal conference in 2018, he ran into Judge Grayson, now retired, in a hotel lobby. Grayson didn't recognize him, but Jamal's heart raced. "You told me I was hopeless," Jamal said, his voice low but firm. Grayson blinked, confused. "I was 17 in your courtroom. You said I'd never amount to anything." Grayson stammered, "I don't recall." Jamal cut him off. "I do, and I'm a professor now, changing the system you thought I'd never escape." Grayson's face reddened, but he said nothing. Jamal walked away, his shoulders squared, the weight of that moment finally lifting. The build-up to his Supreme Court nomination began in 2024, when President Maria Alvarez, the first Latina president, sought a justice to replace a retiring liberal icon. Jamal's name surfaced, backed by civil rights leaders and legal scholars. His record was impeccable, decades of advocacy, scholarship, and wins that reshaped justice for the marginalized. But the nomination process was a gauntlet. Senate hearings loomed, and critics pounced. Some called him too activist, others whispered about his troubled youth. At a confirmation hearing, Senator James Whitaker, a conservative skeptic, grilled him. "Your past suggests a lack of judgment," Whitaker said, citing the shoplifting incident. The room tensed. Jamal leaned into the microphone, his voice unwavering. "My past taught me justice isn't just a verdict. It's a chance to rise. I've spent my life proving that." The gallery erupted in murmurs, some hostile, some in awe. The suspense was palpable. Would his past derail his future? The Senate vote was razor close, a 51-49 confirmation after weeks of heated debate. On a crisp October morning in 2025, Jamal Carter took the oath as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, his mother and sister in the front row, their faces glowing with pride. Elaine, now in her 70s, whispered to Keisha, "I told him he'd be somebody." The twist wasn't just his rise. It was the quiet power of those who believed in him. His mother, M.S. Hayes, Judge Nguyen. They saw what Grayson couldn't. Jamal's journey wasn't just a personal triumph. It was a rebuke to a system that too often discards black youth as hopeless. As Justice Carter, he would shape rulings on civil rights, criminal justice, and equality, his voice carrying the weight of his past. His first opinion, a dissent in a case on juvenile sentencing, went viral, quoted by activists and scholars alike. "The system doesn't define you," he wrote. "You define the system." Those words, born from a teenager's pain, became a rallying cry. From Chicago to London, Los Angeles to Manchester, this story isn't just Jamal's. It's a call to action. Wherever you are, believe in the potential of those the world dismisses. Support the dreamers, the fighters, the hopeless, who prove everyone wrong. Share this story and let it remind you, no one is beyond redemption, and no dream is too big to rise.